it's the second season of Detroit for Central Crown. How's everybody doing? And once again, we get the famous and ever loving Mike back. Haven't seen him in a while since the last time he had his hair up like this. So,
hey, he went from ludicrous to exhibit.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with y'all, though. It's good to be back for season 2.
Good. It's nice seeing you back. Clean shaven. A little bit here means you're eating well. You're eating well, so looks good.
He went from the club to pimping your ride.
Yes. So let's all introduce ourselves. I mean, we were here last year, but like, introduce yourself.
Richard, man, you can catch me at Riggs 928 on X.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, you can catch me at @1pride_JR on X.
You can find me. I'm Chris. You'll find me on X at Crazy Hockey Fan. You also find me on Instagram at OneNationPride_24. So yeah, we have a lot of topics to discuss. I got about 13 in here. If we get to them all, we get to them all. We'll try to keep it to an hour just for this time. We can go forward with stuff. But so the first thing we're going to go over here in just a little bit here. I got to switch it up because I'm in the wrong thing. I should have already had that covered. All right, let's get that going. And the first one is going to be, we just signed a new player, like literally today or yesterday. It's new signing is Jose. I'm going to try to not like destroy this name, but I think it's your cutie. I think your cutie is his last name.
I think.
What?
Your Quade or some shit.
Yeah. So he's a right-handed pitcher from Houston. He spent 5 years in Houston. He had a 2024 break. He's 29 years old, right-handed pitcher. How do you guys like him?
Man, I like it for depth. I think, because he's still coming back from injury. But he can be a decent pitcher. He is coming off injury. But I think the Tigers learned from last year, starting pitching-wise, is, man, you can't have enough depth, man. Whether it's in the major league level and down to your minor league level. When guys go down, I mean, yes, last year, we used like 10 starting pitchers or something. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then you got to the point where it was, last 2 months, it was bullpen chaos plus Scooble, or Scooble plus bullpen chaos, however, which way you want to look at it. So from a depth side of things, I like it.
Yeah, I agree with Rich there. I think don't think too much of it. I think it's a decent signing. He's had some good years, solid seasons, but I think it's more of a depth piece, like he said. You don't want to run into that problem that we had last year when it was just Scooble, Montero, and then the other three could start. We didn't know what we were doing. It was basically just everybody on the team.
Yeah, I think he's good, and I think he's versatile enough. You're right; it's a depth signing. If anybody can get more out of a guy, it would be Chris Fetter. I think he becomes the better version of what he had. So his best year was 2020. What was it? 2022,
I think.
22. Yep. He went 13-8 with a 394, which is not great as an earned run average, but I think he is a starting pitcher, but he's more of a starting pitcher in like a limited role. So he's good for a fill-in start here and there, but he also has long relief capabilities too. So he's going to really, I think he's going to take place of some of the guys that probably like didn't do as well. He could, I don't know what his velocity is, but he could be a closer. Maybe instead of Mr. Long Hair or long mustache last year. But
it was a real cheap deal too. I think this year's only like a couple million, and then next year I think it's a club option.
Yeah.
So I mean, and for $4 million. So like basically if you do what we want you to do, we'll bring you back.
Yeah,
even $4 million for a starting pitcher is not bad.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, like I've told you guys in the past, like now that I'm not working under a salary cap like football, the money to me doesn't matter. I mean, to you maybe it does because of value, but I don't care right now. Like at this point, money doesn't really matter. I mean, as long like if we paid him like $20 million, I'd probably have a little bit of an issue. But I mean, at this point,
or like you're paying Cobb 15.
Don't. We don't need to talk about that right now. Well, we're still paying Javier Baez $26 million, like that kind of stuff. But we'll get in him later. But
that's the GOAT, baby.
So we can just go over the next ones. It's a bunch of our different signings. So Flattery, Canal, I think that's how you say it, Chafin, Breba. The other ones are guys that we've just re-signed to avoid arbitration. We also got Nito too as well. I think his name's Tommy Nito. He's actually not played that bad in spring training, but that's another signing from another team that we got. But yeah,
Torres too.
Oh yeah, gosh, that wasn't even on my list. That's funny. He didn't even pop up, and I should have known.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Chris hated saying it so much.
Yeah, I really did not like him at all.
Tell us how you really feel, Chris.
He hated it so much he didn't even put it on the list.
Yeah, it's funny because I said Detroit Tigers top free agent signings 2025, and he's not even on there. So it's like that's why I didn't even put him. I was like,
he was like the first signing.
He was. That's crazy too. They just skipped right over him and just went Jack.
See,
Flatter.
that's the frustrating to me. Like I like the Flaherty signing, but pitching was our strength last year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we needed depth at starting pitcher. I'll agree with that, but like our offense really struggled. Look at, Reese Olson, how many great games he pitched, but his record sucked because we couldn't score a run.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if Gleyber Torres were to have, one of his flashback seasons, was that really enough? Because what you're telling me is you're depending on other players stepping up. Is what you're telling me. You know what I mean? And like you're putting your eggs in the wrong basket, from my opinion, from a fan, from an outside. That's the thing that frustrated me the most about the offseason was, well, yeah, I like that you strengthen up our strength, but you didn't strengthen our weakness. It's a problem, Chris and Mike, when your best hitter with runners in scoring position is a 180 hitter in the GOAT, Javi Baez. That's a problem.
That is. Yeah. And it's not like he's the leader by percentage points. He's like triple like whatever anybody else does. Like he's not.
Because we used to talk about that last year, remember, guys? Like he sucks so bad, but runners in scoring position, he's like Barry Bonds. He goes from Ray Ordonez to Barry Bonds if there's runners in scoring position.
Just crazy.
But I agree again with you there on that topic as well, Rich, because if it wasn't for Jack coming back, I would have a really harsh grade for the offseason acquisition period, because it wasn't it for me. Like, it's a lot of older guys. I just wanted to see a lot more. I wanted to see a lot more. And I didn't like the fact that it was always being reported that it was either Bregman or Santander, and we didn't get either of the guys. like I was one or the other, and you managed to not get either of them is beyond me. And it didn't even have to be between one and the other. You could have signed both of them if you wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could have got both of them. But I needed more than Gleyber Torres. But I think this is going to be a big season for him. Is monumental and getting the contract that he wants, so he's going to have no choice but the ball out. So I'm still rooting for him. Don't get me wrong, but I just needed more than Torres as my really only hitter that they added that I feel like they added. But getting Jack back was great though.
Yeah, getting Jack back. I mean, we signed so many pitchers though. Like, I mean, all those are pitchers. Kale, Flattery, Chafin, Buriba. I mean, Gleyber Torres was the one hitter that we got. I mean, everybody else was just minor league contracts and stuff like that. Like, that was our biggest weakness was that. Like, I don't think Gleyber Torres is going to solve our issues. He is an extra right-handed bat, which we sorely need. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't see it.
I don't see it either because, I mean, I think we all were in agreement, us three on the show, that we needed 2 to 3 right-handed bats. So one ain't going to cut it, and especially when the one is just Torres. But it is what it is. Hopefully he can bounce back and have a better season than he had. So
yeah, that's true. All right, and so this next guy we're going to talk about was one that Richard brought up, and this is a Jahmani Jones. He's actually having a pretty good spring training right now. He's batting 250, which isn't always your best known case, but his slugging is 650 and his OPS is 1.025. Like, he's hitting the cover off the ball. He's doing really well. Now, this is basically a 27-year-old He's played for LA, Baltimore, Milwaukee, and New York from 2020 to 2024 with a break of 2022 not playing. So he's a journeyman. He only has 69 total games, played in the majors. So he's more of a career minor leaguer, but he's having a pretty good spring training. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at him, Mike. But he's looking good, but once again, he's 27 with very little experience. So I don't know how good he's going to do. He does bat right though, so that's a right-handed bat. So,
man, I'm sorry. I'm glad he's doing well in spring training. I haven't really been watching spring training, to be honest with you guys. I've been working a lot, but I'm not counting him as a right-handed bat with less than 100 games played. Man, I can't do it. But shout out to him for performing well so far. Hopefully he can keep it up. But I mean, this offseason, we said we needed hitting, and they just did not do it for me at all. But,
yeah, I mean, I really think they think that this is going to be another like your second-year players like coming through and doing the same thing we did last year, only doing good from the get-go. I just counting on second year players to like be your main guns for the for your lineup is going to be rough. I don't know.
Yeah, man, we said all off season, actually before the off season when we were doing our episodes in season 1 of this show, like you got to sprinkle in some veterans, you got to sprinkle in the vets,
quality.
Mm-hmm. We've argued this on the show and off the show, and then they chose not to do nothing. They chose not to do anything. They just chose to say, "Oh, we're just going to go the Torres route, and we're going to play these 2 guys in the reports to each other. We're getting one of them, and we don't get any of them." Like the other guy went to a different team because he probably got tired of being the backup option.
Yeah.
Then the primary option, you still don't even lock that down. So yeah, it's kind of weird space to be in.
It is definitely is very tough. But yeah, I mean, I mighty wishing well for a guy that's 27 and hasn't really played a whole lot. I don't know. I think he's just going to be a utility guy. He's just going to be a guy that's going to rest a dude. Guy's going to have a day off, and then I think he's just going to fill in. I think that's all he's going to be for.
And you need those type of guys, man. Those type of guys get you wins.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a good year. It's always possible, but
I just wouldn't bet on it. I just wouldn't bank on it.
Yeah,
I do believe he'll make opening day roster in default. With Veerling being injured, he's not going to make opening day. Parker is still questionable. As I read it the other day, his arm is not weight.
I'll have injury reports later. I'm gonna have that down here eventually. The injury report. So,
but that's why I believe he'll make the roster.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll start on opening day, but I believe he'll make the opening day roster as long as he keeps playing away because of that.
Yeah, 100% believe that. That's for sure. The next one, Kent Maeda having a good spring training. Is this fallacy or true? His velocity is up a little bit better than last year's spring training, so do you think this is just like fool's gold, or do we think this could be a good year for him? Good for current, not good for like in his prime,
Yeah, I think it could be a solid year for him. I was reading that athletic article they wrote on him, and it was pretty good. They were saying pretty much, I guess in his off seasons, he doesn't really tackle it too hard in the off season. Like he gets his work in during spring training and going into the season. So didn't work out for him for the first time last year. It was rough, and he didn't have a velocity, but he's put back on some velocity now, like you said, and they said he feels much better. He's got a lot more pitching going in to this offseason than he did last offseason. So hopefully he could continue to look good and look sharp out there. I think he got a shot. He's competing for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, his velocity is up 3 to 4 miles an hour, which is a big tick. I mean, that's a difference from, 89 to 92, 93. That's a big difference, and that helps your other pitches too. So, and he was never a flamethrower by any means, but, having that extra speed where they can't just time it all the time. This is only spring training, but heck, you're leaps and bounds over where you were last year at this point. So, got to take that in stride.
It's true, very much true. So, I like the fact. I hope he does. I mean, Federer always. Our pitching staff's always going to be quality. So like I don't have any complaints because we can pick and plug our players, move them around. I just hope we can get through more than 4 innings. That's all. I mean, get him to 5 so we can get inside of a win possible, then cool. But if he starts getting smoked after 3 innings, I just can't do it anymore. But
it makes it because your first 3 spots are locked. Skubal, Jack, and Reese.
Yeah.
So the more you guys you have fighting for that 4th and 5th, and really if you read some a lot of people's reports, they say 4 is locked up. So they said there's only 1 spot. I don't know if that's the topic later in the day, so I'm not going to touch it. But
it's not. I don't have it in there, so you can talk about it. Well, I've got starting rotation, so we'll get to the starting rotation and stuff like that. So we can debate that later.
All right.
Okay. So next topic here, and I have much due hate for this guy. Always have, always will until he proves me wrong. Good old Javier Baez, spring training rotation. So his swing has changed his swing a little. He's still striking out though, but he's batting a little better than normal. But it's spring training, so I don't know what are you guys' thoughts and expectations for this year for him, seeing as how he's still here.
I think he has the potential to get that starting spot because, in my opinion, Sweeney has done nothing to lock it down. So, I mean, it's out there. You know, especially with how much you're getting paid. I mean, you're going to get a chance. But I'm just saying, like, in retrospect, like, no one has really done anything to steal your spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would accept if he could get to his 2022, his first year here, when he batted 238. It sucks to say this, but 238, freaking OPS of 671, which is still far below average. And he hit 17 homers and had 67 RBIs. That would literally be like a significant upgrade, like a double. He would be doubling his last year stats. That's just sad. But yes, that's what he would be doing. I would like if he had that, that'd be a good year for him. Like at this point, like, and that's really sad. He can't even get to the average stats, and that's still a good season for him, for us. So
I mean, I agree because if he could just hit and do what he's supposed to, because he does bring value with his defense.
Yeah.
He does bring value with his base running. He's a very good base stealer. I mean, I know he don't get like, crazy numbers, but he's very successful in the ones that he does do. So he brings value.
Yeah.
You got to hit to
you have to be able to get on base. So you have to hit to get on base. To get that going. So yeah.
And you got to be able to hit to play your defense, because I'm not cool with a major leaguer hitting 180 just for your defense at shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, he can be a Gold Glover if he's a guy that's saving games, and you're hitting 180. I might be able to be like, okay, I'm okay. He's still, and he's got like a 390 runners in scoring position thing. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like, but his flashes of the glove isn't like it was in the past. He still plays above average defense, but it's not like he's a 5-star like defensive player from what I've seen in the last like 2 years. So I want to see that back, But I mean, if we could just get that 2022 season, I think it'll be much appreciated. Please and thank you, Javier Baez. Please.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any expectations for Javier at this point. I mean, this is year 4, right?
Yeah.
So year 4 and to a 6-year contract, he hasn't shown a thing at the plate. I don't have any expectations for him. You guys knew what I wanted to do, what my move for the Tigers would have been.
Eat the contract. Eat the contract.
Eat the contract, and Willie Adames was right there, man. He was right there. We weren't even in it. I never even seen no rumors about Tigers and him whatsoever. Like I just don't get it, man. I don't get what the offseason plan was. I don't know what it was as far as hitting, but we can't depend on this dude, man. He hasn't shown anything in the 3 years he's been here.
No, we can't. You're absolutely right. That's why I was laughing when I was saying like his 2022 season, his first year with us, if he did that, he would literally be doubling his output from last year, and that's still below average. A below average hitter in the league. Like, that's how bad he was. Like, if he were to double what he did last year, like, it's just, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, it's just really crazy that it's that bad. So,
yeah, it's went off the rails, man. Like, we had a little bit of hope. We was hoping year 2, and then we was begging last year. And then this year, I'm done with it. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. All right, next guy. I had hoped for him.
Respect the GOAT.
Respect the GOAT. gosh. Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah. Speaking of the GOAT.
Yeah. Spencer Torkelson. A lot of players had high hope, or a lot of people had high hopes. A lot of fans had high hopes for this guy. He had a good second season, hitting 30 home runs. Then he went right back to like AAA last year. I mean, they said he's had a different stance and different play. His stats are actually showing well. But once again, you're in spring training, so I can't depend on what it's doing. But right now in spring training, he is. Let's see what we got here. Let me go to the hitters. Where is he at? I just had him. Oh, sorry. I was in pitching. Spencer Torkelson right now has played in 8 games. He's had 20 at bats. He's batting .350. He's got a 1.181 OPS, which is outstanding. A slugging of 800, which is outstanding. On base percentage of 38%. He's had 3 home runs, 16 total bases, and he's 7 for 20. So of those 7 hits, they're 3 of them are home runs. So it's crazy. That's pretty good. Do we think that this is fallacy or this is fact?
I think.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, you go first.
No, I was waiting for you to chop in. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be somewhere in between, but I'm more encouraged with him than Javi at this point. I think Javi just shipped that sailed. Even if you do have a halfway decent year, going into year 4 is whatever at this point. He had 3 wasted years. Torkelson, much younger, has to adapt to some things, has to be open and adapting to some things. I think he's had a good attitude this offseason. I like the stuff he said in the offseason. I think he's going to apply it and have a much better year this year than he had last year. I think it's going to be more closer to being fact.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Rich. I'll let you talk.
Man, I agree with Mike. Like, willing to change your batting stance, for all the, loud noise that we heard over the misinterpretation or whatever you want to call it of what he said, not watching film and stuff. Be willing to, at this point of your career, to change your stance. You're trying. That's what it tells me. You are trying to figure it out. You're not keep running at in the wall and expecting change. You are trying. That's what that shows me. I was impressed last night of his 2 home runs. One was to right and one was to left. What have I always said, guys, on this show? He is better when he goes to all fields instead of just, but he gets pull happy.
Yeah.
When he gets pull happy, he goes in these big ass slumps. When he's willing to go to all fields, like you ain't got to be Miguel Cabrera, but dang, you ain't got to pull every damn pitch that comes your way either. Like, go with the pitch sometimes. So I like what I see. I think he knows he's young and has shown power, so he's going to get a chance. But he knows his career is like, it's in a loom. You know what I mean? Shape up or shape out. Like it's getting real. You're about running out of chances.
Yeah. So I look at it this way. If he is making these true adjustments, he's going to have to understand that this is not just like, cool, I made an adjustment for this year. That's not how it works. Like once you've played it, whoever we play the first 3 games of the season, we're going to play them again, which means that you're probably going to have to readjust again. You have to constantly make these adjustments. This isn't like in basketball where you like do all your weightlifting in the preseason and all that kind of stuff. And then once you get your shot, you're done. You don't train anymore. This or make adjustments. This is like literally you're going to have to do it series by series. You're going to have to make minor adjustments throughout the season. So hopefully this is the beginning of him learning to adjust on the fly because he's going to have to do that from time to time. So here's a projected stats, Mike. See if this is where you would be at. So his projected stats for this year is like 230, slugging 40%, OPS 713 with 16 home runs, 52 RBIs, and like 42 walks.
Okay, so that's I think it's gonna be more than that too, because that would be okay, that'd be decent, but I think he's gonna be in for better numbers than that, depending on the amount of at bats he's gonna get, because you already know first base is Cole Keith. So if he gets that at bats, though, I could see him have more power numbers than that. You said 17 for the home runs and how many RBIs? 16
home runs and 52 RBIs.
Yeah, I see him getting more in both of those categories.
Yeah, I mean, 409 at bats. That's not a full season. That's about 3/4 of a season. So I mean, that's not him playing 80. That's not him playing 162 games. That's him playing probably 100 and some games, like 110, 120. So
if he's playing that many games, we got a problem, man.
And Chris, is Colt Keith in your topics? In our topics?
Yes, he is. He's coming up soon.
Oh, okay. I'll leave that. I'll leave that one alone for a minute.
Yeah, but
I guess the question would be, how many games would y'all even want? How many games are you guys expecting him to play? If you had to guess right now.
So that's what I want to touch on, Mike, and that's why Chris, I think, knows where I'm going at, because me and him had a semi conversation about. That's why I asked about Colt Keith. I'm gonna touch on that.
Why don't we should probably just get to it, because I got some questions too.
Okay.
That's fine.
So the next, you want me to just move that to the next topic?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Well, Colt Keith. So I have issues with his first, because they showed his issues with first base.
Yes.
He's having trouble coming off the base path. Like he's literally, you know how like a lot of first basemen, when the ball comes to him, he catches, they come off the base like almost simultaneously as he's catching it. He's actually been coming off the base before he catches the ball. So he's getting close to them not being called out. So he's having issues with that. But you guys can talk about more than just that. That was just my thought process.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get at, is if he's struggling, because that's a big deal. And we know with pitchers, man, it's kind of like a walk, right? If you walk, start walking your first batters and stuff, you start having bad innings. So if you got a first baseman where you should have an out, but he's not staying on the bag, we got a problem. If he's not able to complete double plays because he's bringing a foot off the base, that's a problem. That might not get you out of innings.
Yeah.
So that's where I was getting to when you were talking about how many at-bats for Torque. Well, if this continues, because that was not a problem for Torque. Is he a Gold Glove first baseman? No. Is he an average first baseman with occasional big plays? Yes.
But here's the bigger question, though. Is Torres a Gold Glove second baseman?
Hell no.
So that's my thing. The biggest problem for us all off season and all during the season was we needed hitting, and then the only hitter you had was a guy that subtracts from the defense as well, and didn't want to move off of second base for the Yankees. And on top of being a horrible teammate in that department when he was speaking, proceeded to still not play very well defensively after that and make more errors. So you're moving a guy that was already moving the positions or whatever, and it was already questioned about how good his defense would be last year at second base. So first base is perceived to be easier or whatever, but still, he's going to have his issues because it's another new position for him, and he has to get comfortable with that. But you bumped him off of that to put somebody in, appease somebody sign him here and appease him by keeping him at second base, that's not really good defensively at second base. It wasn't good last year. So that's real questionable. Like, that's real questionable in my eyes. We'll see how the season plays out, but you didn't really need to have to do that.
I agree with you, Mike, and that's where I think Tort may be able to get extra at bats if he's hitting. Is, maybe you move Colt to second and put Glaber at DH, or maybe you put Colt at DH and put Torque at first base, giving him more at bats. So that all plays into, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody playing to everybody. If they're playing their defense, their positions defensively correct. If Torque is hitting, if he's hitting, you're gonna have to put him in a lineup, one way or the other. So that's why I was saying, like, it's a hard question. How many at bats we think he's gonna get. At the end of the day, I think there's a lot of factors into how that could happen, more or less.
And I see this, and this brings up the whole thing with what Chris Ilitch was talking about. He wants to rely on his young players to be on the squad. He wants to rely on the draft. Well, if you're going to keep moving players all around, you're going to mess up their fundamentals, because every position is a different fundamental that you got to practice. And if you keep moving them around, you're not helping them. And so, with that being said, I mean, in the long run, it makes them more versatile, but for the short term, it does not. And I don't like the fact that they're moving him around. They should have kept him where he's at, and tried something else. I mean, I'm telling you, like, if they're just trying to, Gleyber Torres is not freaking Mike Trout. You don't have to appease him like that. Like, if he's your top guy and you're trying to appease him, you got a problem. And that's the problem I'm getting, is that they could have put him somewhere else. And if he would have been like, well, I don't want to play, well, fuck you. Like, I'm sorry, but you signed a contract. You're playing at third base. Can't help you there.
To be honest with you, I'd have rather had Santander over Torres.
Well, yeah, so would I. And I'm sure
that's everybody, though. That's my biggest problem with the offseason. Like, we did not have to sign a second baseman, man. Just could have signed a shortstop, signed a third baseman. We needed an outfield bat. That could have been Santander. We had a multitude of options that we spoke on and we were hopeful for. None of us were hoping for this. I'm sorry. None of us were hoping to find Gleyber Torres. We just weren't.
Hey, as a matter of fact, guys, I remember one of our last shows when we were talking about free agents, we were saying Torres was one of the ones we did not want.
Yeah. And that keeps happening, because it was the same with the Javi when we signed him. We had all those shortstops to pick from, and he was dead last on the majority of the fans' boards, and that's the one we signed. I'm tired of them doing that. Go out there. You got the money to spend. Our payroll isn't even high. Like, our payroll is still down at the bottom. Like, go sign somebody, man. If you want to win games, you want to make a playoff run, you want to help these kids with guys that's been there and done it and have experience winning divisions and winning playoff series, go out there and sprinkle in some veterans and you're going to have to pay some money. I'm sorry. You're going to have to pay some money. They have it. Don't tell me they don't. One of the wealthiest owners in baseball, by the way.
Yep.
Because the Pistons are proving how much veterans matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need vets. Your young players can be your nucleus and they can be your stars. Fine. Fantastic. Great. But you need successful producing veterans. They will teach you how to win. They will teach you how to play, and they will show by example. Period.
Yeah. I mean that, and so that's the thing. Like, you're going to hear from guys that from, like, the Tigers, like, well, they did spend money this year. They signed Jack Flattery, yeah, but that's just a wash because we had him last year. Like,
that was only because he didn't get the contract he wanted. Like, he was still out there. Like, if he had gotten signed to the contract that I believe he deserved, if he would have got signed to that, we wouldn't even got him back. We only got him back because he was still sitting out there.
Yeah, was that too? That, Mike, and you're right, Mike. I'm not debating or saying you're wrong. He did want to come back here as well.
Yeah.
But tell me which one he wanted more. Did he want the contract he wanted more, or did he want to come back on a 1 or 2 year deal here?
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I'm not. That's what I say. I'm not debating.
That's my whole point. Like he wanted to get a lengthy contract. He did not, because this is essentially a 1 year deal. We got an option right on the second year, but we all know that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like more than likely, it's a 1 year deal. So
right, but we would have never got him if he didn't want to come back either.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that was not number one on this.
Oh, right. No, yeah, I agree.
So
they got helped by the market not giving him the contract that he felt he deserved.
I agree.
So right now we're 18th in payroll. Like, that's terrible. 18th in payroll.
So are we the worst amongst playoff teams from last year?
Let me check. Guardians are 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't. They depend on a lot of rookies too. If the Royals, I can't remember if the Royals or the Cardinals were in the playoffs. The Twins, I think were, but they're just ahead of us. But yeah, most of these guys like the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rangers. Those guys are all the top six right there. Like, those are huge payrolls, and there's no salary cap. So at this point, like, I mean, you are literally spending like $140,000 less than the top four teams in the league. 130 million less. That's why you can't get anywhere. Like, it's not like we're almost at our cap and like we have to be careful because we got to sign rookies. It's not that. It doesn't freaking matter. Like, you got to sign players, man. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, we signed like 9 players this season for a total, like, outside of Jack Flaherty and Cobb that were 15 million. The total contracts of the rest of the people didn't even add up to like Cobb. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter, man. You don't sign just to sign. You need really quality guys. It's showing right now, and I think it will show this year.
And Cobb was one of the first signings, and he said he thought he was done.
Wow.
He got his last check, and they gave him $15 million.
Hey, Mike, I'll get up off the couch and put my PlayStation controller down for $15 million.
Man, come on, man. I ain't never heard of that before. A player talking about, I thought I was done. I thought I had my last check, and the team just gave me $15 million. Let me come back.
Sounds like the Pistons coach from last year. Will you come back for 100? Will you come back for 100 million? Hell yeah! Like,
hell yeah! I'll dust off my cleats.
Shoot, man, that's the problem, man. We're bottom dwelling. I think.
And then we said about the age too. Like, we had an age range we was hoping for some of the players, and he's like 35, 36 or something like that. And then like first when spring training is about to get popping off, he got a hip injury. Come on, man.
You can't write this crap, man. Like, he freaking gets a hip injury. I'm 50 and I've got a hip injury. So like come on, like.
That was ridiculous. Said he thought he got his last check. They done gave him $15 million, and then he can't even get the spring training, bro. Come on.
You know what's crazy is Flaherty, who had a way, way better year, only getting 18. Like, we should have just used that 15 on a closer. Hell, you could have went and got Kenley Jansen for $10 million.
I know, but no, we got Mustache Man, so. Let's speak on.
Hey, Rich, man. Flaherty this year get 25. That's why I'm saying that second year is not going to happen.
I thought it was only 18.
That second year is a player option. He has a player option, and he would get $10 million next year. I'm telling you, he's not doing that next year. This is essentially a 1 year contract. It's not a 2 year contract. He's not opting unless he breaks his neck or something. He's not signing for them $10 million.
Wow, thanks, Mike.
Not playing for them $10 million, man. I hate to put it like that, but it's a 1-year contract. It's a 1-year contract. He's not opted into no damn $10 million next year.
Yeah, he's not. He's just going to test the market again. Yeah, the only way he's not going to get more money is if he has a bad year, like a really, really bad year. And it's going to be kind of hard because we got one of the best pitching coaches in the league. So I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a crazy 1-2 punch like we had last year before we traded him, and it's going to be phenomenal. And then he's going to go back out to the market, and then we're probably going to be cheap again, so he'll probably go elsewhere. But I don't know. They got to start spending some money, man. I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah, and if Reese Olson turns out to be really good because he got injured last year, and we can get some runs on the board for him, we might be having a good 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I tell you what, if we could have got Bregman and Santander here, we could have got some runs on the board for the dude. I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like if we have the same struggle, if our Achilles heel is still the hitting this season like it was last season, is they don't have anybody to blame but themselves. They did this to themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why, I love Parker Meadows, but he's becoming an injury guy.
Hey. Well, how many games did he miss due to injury last year? From when he started, because he was in the minors.
I know he got sent to the minors, but I thought he missed some games because of injury.
I don't remember him missing that many games, so I think he was fairly healthy.
Yeah, he was fairly healthy. He just had this. Yeah, because I don't remember him getting injured other than maybe like a soreness or something like that. He just sat out a game or two, but I don't remember him getting injured.
Yeah, I remember. If I remember correctly, he played the majority of the games, whether he was up in the majors or minors.
I mean, because I know he remember he started out the season and didn't bat well, and they had to send him back to the minors, and he got really good, and everybody wanted him to come back immediately, like almost every player they see down there. And he sat there and he kept hitting good, and then they finally brought him up and he did well. But I mean, you might be right. He may have sat a couple of games due to injury, but I don't think it was that much, if any. But our next topic is Casey Mize. So thankfully, Richard brought him up because I totally forgot. Dude has been so buried on the depth chart and injured. I totally forgot about him. Our first round draft pick from 2018. Wonder what could we possibly expect out of him? I mean, this might be like a Torque year where it's like his final chance.
Yeah, I think it's getting down to the end of the line for him too. I was reading some good stuff on him too, and what Rich was putting in the group chat about him wanting to use the splitter and use the fastball at the end of the strike zone at the bottom. I forgot his name, the pitcher that used to be on the Blue Jays. He's on a different team now. Yeah. So he could do that. He could be effective at doing that. And just like Maeda, he's in a fight, man. Like y'all said, at least the 3 are locked up. The top 3 spots. Some people say top 4 spots locked up. So they're really fighting essentially for 1 to 2 spots, most likely 1. So he's been doing a good job too, just like Maeda has. So they're making it tough, and hopefully they both continue to make it tough because, I mean, that's how iron sharpens iron. You got to bring the competition. You have to. And he still had moments last year. Was he phenomenal? No, but he still had moments. He was up and down, but he still had points where he would show you he had some stuff, or at least if he didn't have his best stuff, he would battle and he would get out. He would grind it out. So that's enough for me.
Yeah,
he did better than Maeda last year for me.
Yeah, the expectations aren't very high then. just to be honest.
Yeah, it's not very high. And as your 5th guy, do you want your 5th guy to be solid? Yeah, you do. But are you really banking on your season on the 5th guy who's probably not even going to be starting in the playoffs anyways if you get to the playoffs?
Yeah, no. That's true.
True. I'm really more concerned with the top 3 to 4 guys. And on top of being concerned with that, the most thing is health. Because last year what happened with the pitching situation, that was crazy watching that. But
I mean,
long as we're healthy, man, just hopefully the top 3 to 4 guys are doing good.
Yeah, because I can't go to a back half of a season when we have 2 starters and 3 freaking mystery pitchers. Like, that's crazy. It's just that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, 2 starters and 3 bullpen days. That's rough.
Absolutely. I mean, your bullpen gets just hammered, and you don't everybody has to start. Luckily, you've got a couple of guys that didn't have many issues with it, but it's rough. It is because
you also put more pressure on those couple starters you got starting because they got to go deeper into the games. You're hoping they go deeper into the games. We saw Montero last year have to get kept in some games where most likely they would have pulled him out, but you can't pull him out because you got 3 bullpen sessions every week for starters.
Yep.
I hope we don't have to see that again. But that was just a freak thing. That rarely ever happens.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's talk about Detroit's farm system. And this can be anything. This can be anything.
I didn't get to speak on mine.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, shoot. I thought you. Yeah.
So his velocity is up too. The problem with him last year, his velocity was down even from what it is right now. But it was, he'd give you like 3 solid innings. And that 4th inning, the damn house would cave in. And he couldn't get out that 4th inning a lot of times. The stuff is there. The potential's there. I'm glad he finally got it because he lost that splitter, and that's what got him the first overall pick. Was that split finger?
Right. It's supposed to be a plus pitch.
Yep.
Yeah, and he lost it. Yeah,
he had it on MLB The Show when I used them.
So that's rough. You know what I mean? When you lose your top pitch. So I hope he does, man, because as a fan, I want my guys to succeed. I want them to be good. I want them to do well, especially the young guys. I'm a root for them. I don't want to see you fail. So man, I hope he does, man. And like Mike, I've read stuff too. He knows he's in a battle. So a lot of times when you get these professional athletes, when their back is against the wall, you're going to get their best. Because, at the end of the day, they're going to get paid. But he don't want to go to AAA. You're
right. He don't want to go to AAA or the bullpen. He don't want to be a long reliever. He wants to be a starter. He wants to get paid.
Yeah.
But hey, shout out to both of them, man. Both of them for acknowledging it, and because the stories were good, but what made them even better was just both of them facing up to it, acknowledging the problems and the issues, and trying to move on and get back out here and compete. That's what made both stories, reading both of their stories, even better to me. They're both acknowledging it. They're not making any excuses. They're tackling what they thought was wrong and fixing it and trying to get to it. So shout out to both of those guys.
Yep. So Tigers farm system. So the Tigers farm system is number 1 in Major League Baseball right now. It was voted the best farm system in baseball. It has taken so long for us to get back to the top of having a good farm system. I mean, it is amazing. It's great that we know that we can now produce good players and trade for the proper guys and get them into our system. Now we just got to get them processed and through the league. We also have to learn how to use them for future veteran good players too. So
I was gonna say, because it can work both ways. You can keep them yourself, or that gives you ammo to go get players.
Yep.
At deadline, to trade deadline and stuff. And I like to see last night they brought your guy up, Chris McDonegal, whatever you say his name.
McGonigal, my hero. I love him.
And Max Clark. McGonigal, he struck out, but he had a good at bat. Clark got a sac fly, and he actually changed his batting stance. And he's what, 19 or 20?
You mean Max Clark? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because that thing that I sent y'all said he changed his batting stance like 3 times already.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. But that's the
And
thing.
He faced Bautista from the Orioles, who Bautista's an all-star. He's a former all-star. Felix Bautista, closer. And he got a sac fly RBI. That's pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is the guy everybody's been a lot of baseball was mad because we didn't take we didn't take the other guy. He's already been in the league. He was a rookie last year. God, who was he?
You're talking about the guy on the Rangers. I can't remember his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
The outfielder.
Yeah, but I can't remember.
He had a couple players last year.
Not Cruz. Wyatt Langford.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, everybody was like, we should have taken Wyatt Langford versus this guy. We took this guy instead, Max Clark, and a lot of people shunned the Tigers for that. And then, like, once he came to the majors, everybody was like, see, you should have taken him. He's already here. It's like, yeah, but Max Clark is like 3 years younger than the guy. Of course he's not going to make it to the majors. He has more time to process, but he's already here. He's here faster than the other guy was because he's younger. So he's already getting some at bats in the majors as like a 20-year-old. Yeah, he just turned 20. So I don't know what anybody's complaining about. So
I like his game.
I do too. A guy that's a young 20 years old and he's already making adjustments on the fly. That's good. That's really good.
He reminds me. Never mind. I don't like this comparison shit, but so I'm just going to say it this way. He's a baseball player. He makes the baseball plays. If you look last year, his RBIs were very high for his home run, for what he had home runs. You know what I mean? I've said this before. You know, if you're a guy who has 20 homers but 50 RBIs, you're not driving in a lot of runs. Like him, I think he had less than 10 home runs, but he had like 75, 80 RBIs.
You're right.
That tells me you know how to drive in runs.
He had nine home runs with 75 RBIs. That is a buttload of RBIs for not having a lot of home runs. So
right.
Yeah.
So like
he had a lot of doubles.
Like
he's a doubles guy though. He had 21 doubles. So, and that's a lot.
And he plays good defense.
Yeah.
I've seen plays, and I've shared them in our chats where, routine ground outs to shortstop. He's beating it out. So he's a hustle guy. He's got I like his game.
Yeah, his fielding. I mean, obviously, when he first got there, in 23, he got to the minors. He was registering 1,000 field percent, which is perfect. But even the last couple of years, it's been 99.3%. Like he's really good. He does not make very many errors. He's really good as a defensive player. So that looks good so far. So far, so good.
He'll be a good leadoff hitter, I think.
Yeah. He's not. I thought he was shorter than. He's 6 foot. I actually thought he was like 5'11", 5'10". He's 6 foot, a little bit bigger than I thought he was. So, I mean, he might be like a shorter Parker Meadows, more speed. So you're probably gonna get like a 280 batting average out of him, and like you're gonna start seeing him get steals. He's gonna be a threat on the base paths, and that's gonna be good because we need that hit and run ability.
Yeah, and you need a guy to drive in runs.
Yeah.
Hey, I would take a Johnny Damon type player.
Would you?
Yeah. Johnny Damon was a damn good player.
Yep. Well, we're going to go to the injury report. And let me share this real quick. There we go. And That's the current injury report for the Tigers right now. So a lot of players are like day to day, but the big one was the one that you had talked about earlier, our $15 million AARP pitcher, Alex Cobb. The amount of players that are on this injury report is crazy. I mean, outfielder Matt Vierling, we already discussed him. I mean, Winsel Perez, which he's a good player. I'm hoping he comes back. Looks like he's going to have full capable baseball activities this weekend, so it's getting he'll be ready for opening day. Hopefully Parker Meadows will be as well. I'm hoping Ty Madden will be, because I actually liked him a little bit last year. Alex Lang, I would like him to stay in the minors, to be honest, but that's just me. And then Richard's favorite player, Akil Baddoo. Yeah, exactly. Are you still there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just listening to y'all. Yeah, it's nobody really significant on there that's on there that I would be depending on to do anything for this team this year. But
Vierling's not going to make opening day, but other than that, I'm not worried about it.
And he didn't have a crazy injury, right? If I'm correct. What does anybody remember what his issue was?
Who?
Matt Vierling.
His injury?
Yeah, I can't even remember. I don't think it was anything like major where he's going to miss.
He's going to be out. He's out opening day.
Nah, I know that. I'm talking about the majority of the season, though. He's going to be back.
Oh,
right?
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything serious where it's a concern.
Yeah, nothing with big, no player, no key players for like, let's say the first third of the season or anything. Nothing like that. Like it's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be the I forgot about him. He would be the most concerned on that list, but even him, I don't expect him to be out forever. But that goes into another thing, was saying that we needed hitting, and that part of that position was going to be covered by him, and with him being out opening day, and that frees up a spot for a guy or two right there. But I don't know, man. It's just hard to hit on a lot of young guys, man. Like, and you can't expect a whole group of young guys to all be playing consistently well at the same time. I just think that's hard.
Yeah, what you gonna do when two of your three we used 9. We used 9 rookies last year towards the stretch run. What are you gonna do when like 3 or 4 of them are batting like 210 and they're not hitting well? They're all in slumps. What are you going to do? Hope they battle out of them? I mean, you have no veterans to replace them that are even decent. Like what are you supposed to do with that?
I went back and looked at our playoff stats.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, our offense was horrible.
Yeah, it was
horrible.
If it wasn't for the pitching, we wouldn't have been in a lot of them games, man. Our offense wasn't great at all. Like, wasn't even good.
No, because we depended on a hot 8th inning or a hot 9th inning. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't consistent all game long. It was a hot inning that we were dependent, and that hot inning usually was at the end of the game.
Yeah. Even the series we won, that game, man, we almost lost that game, man. It was a 1-0 game for the majority of that game. Then they went up, and then Ibanez put us back up at the top. We won the series, but we almost lost that series because of the offense.
Yeah.
You can't depend on key hits all the time.
Yeah. Well, your good teams put pressure on pitchers throughout the game. So like, it's not like, I mean, they're not putting pressure all 8 innings, but like, your guys that can hit and stuff, like, I mean, we're talking like at least 50% of the innings, you're getting guys on base. Whether they score or not, you're putting pressure on the pitchers, which means they got to throw more pitches, which means they're going to be out of the game sooner. But if your hitters are if it's just 3 up, 3 down, there's only like 3 or 4 pitches per batter That's nothing for a pitcher. All right, let's get into our possible starting rotation. Hey, Mike, who do you think is going to be the starters? Oh, like we're just starting like opening day, first week. Like who do you think is going to be your starters for the first like week or two?
Man, just give me the top three. I think the injury with the older guy that said he was thought he was done. that might get the rookie a shot, but I don't know. Do y'all think he gets a shot to start the year in the rotation, or do you still think he's outside the rotation?
I heard that Jackson Job's having issues with his pitches. Yeah, that's what I heard. Let me check the Tigers thing because I heard something.
I know what we would want, but I just want them to do it the correct way, and I feel like they will do it the correct way. So if that's true, then he'll probably start where he needs to start, which will be in the minors.
Mm.
Have him go to AAA and get right, and then bring him up when you need to bring him up. But give me the top three, and then you got Maeda, you got Mize. I was hoping them two would be fighting really for the last spot, but who would be the 4 and the 5 for you two?
So I think it'll either be Mize or it'll be Maeda on one of those. And the guy we just signed, I think it'll be a rotation. I think it'll be Mize, Maeda, and that Jose guy, to be honest with you, because that Jose guy is technically a starting pitcher. He hasn't done much relief work. He has one save, and that was last year. But I could see all three of those guys rotate. Whoever's hot is probably going to be rotating through the starting position. So until Alex Cobb comes back, I think you're right, Mike. I think those are three top guys, and then we rotate through Mize, Maeda, and that Jose guy.
So
yeah, I think you might be right. That might be why they signed him. It's just underwhelming, man. Underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Scooble. This is opening day. Scooble, Jack, Reese, Job, Mize.
I don't think Job may not make it. He's had issues. He's had issues throwing.
Rich wants him to make it, but
I know. I would love for him to make it, but I don't know because
everything I'm reading and seeing, he's making it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, like I said, I've been working way too much to be keeping up with spring training for the most part, so I can't tell you how good he's doing or not. But they're not going to put him in the rotation unless they feel he's ready to be in the rotation. I know that much.
Yeah, I don't want him to turn like pitchers are a little different than batters, but I don't want him to come. I don't want him to be put in a full blown starting rotation and him not be ready and then kill his confidence, and then it takes a full year to recover him in the minors. It's really pitchers, man. Their psyche's even worse than hitters, man. They get knocked off the block. It takes them a long time to recover. And we saw what happened to Torkelson that first season when we brought him up too soon. So we're still dealing with issues with him. So yeah. How about the starting lineup? We don't have to fill in like first base this if you don't want to, but who do you think's going to be probably in your starting lineup that first week or so?
So
people we don't want to be
Rogers,
in there.
Keith, Torres, Baez, Young, Riley. Center field still up in the air because we don't know about Parker. So it'll be Parker. If he can't go, it'll be Winsell. And then right field will be Carey, and then DH will be Torque. That's my prediction.
Who is behind the plate for you?
Jake.
But Yeah, this is another reason it would have been nice to get somebody like Santander, because when you have a injury in the outfield, you would have had an extra guy to put out there that, hey, is he the best defender? No, but can he still hit? Yes. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I keep going back to it, but this offseason, man, very, very underwhelming, man. They better be winning some games this year. They have to at least do as good as they did last year, but in my estimation, I agree with Chris. They have to do more. They have to go up a step more further into the playoffs. I don't know. I'm just not really. I'm excited, but I'm not excited. If you guys know what I mean by saying that.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
That's
something like that. 'Cause I feel like they didn't help the players, man. You didn't help the players by not sprinkling in solid veteran
yeah.
like leadership and production, man.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, it's like if Cole Keith has a bad first week or 2 weeks, then you're putting Torque in there. Torque's not doing good. You can't put Colt back in there because he's not doing good. Who are you going to put at first base now? You just freaking flip flop, or you just going to be like whatever, you know? But then if you put Torque there, then you're stunting Colt's growth because he can't do anything. Or you put him at DH and hope he blitz and he's not hitting. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you got too many second-year players. You just you're banking on them all, like at least batting average or better, and that's like hard. It's really hope. It's too much hope. It's too much hope. It's way too much hope for me. But our last topic here, Detroit Tigers over under win season win total 83.5. I went off of like Vegas's insider odds. So what y'all think? How many wins you think we're going to have this year?
How many did we have last year?
Yeah. Woohoo! I didn't even look at last year's, to be honest with you.
My bad.
He trying to change the question.
Oh,
I'm gonna go if that's 84 over under 84. Let me go. Man, at this point, I'm going under. Man, they gonna have to show me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 83 is quite a bit of wins.
I'm going under with the 80. I'm going under 84 right there.
The only reason why I asked is because I could see the same amount as I had.
I don't think last year's record even matters. I just think what matters is what they chose to do this offseason as far as
no, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing they did this offseason, like hit home, if you know what I mean. Like it didn't excite me. It didn't tickle my frenzy.
86 and 76 is what we did.
I'm going under. I'm going 83 or less right now as the roster is currently constructed and the question marks we still have. I'm going 83 or less.
Yep. I'm taking under 2, and I literally think they're going to be having opposite record. I think they're going to be 76 and 86, to be honest with you. I mean, the pitching staff might get us to even like 500.
I'll say 83 wins, but they just didn't do anything that really like gets me excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of stressful games, man. We're going to be watching a lot of one-run games, or we're in them, and or we're going to be down 1-0. We're in them, and Flaherty and Skubal and Reese and whoever is doing everything they can to keep us in the game. It's going to be 1-0, 2-0, and we can't even get a run or two on the board, man. That's how I feel right now at this moment.
Yeah.
They're going to have to show me they can hit, man. So they show me they can hit on a consistent basis and put some runs on the damn board. I'm going with the under.
Yeah. And mind you, those that are watching, like we're not saying we had to make a splash play to make us for the sake of making a splash play. What we're talking about like true veteran, good quality players, not guys that are below average that are there just assigned to be signing. We're not talking about like getting a guy that's like Mike Trout or a freaking Shohei Ohtani. Like we're not looking for that either. We were just looking for guys that will help the young guys. And when we need guys that are consistent, they know how to be a veteran. They've been in the playoffs before. They've been on this, in the league for a little while, where they can hit, they can get the runs in and stuff like that. And we just didn't do anything like that. Gleyber Torres is not the answer. And we'll see. Hopefully he has a good year. But if that's the guy that you are like betting your money on, we didn't do very well.
Bruh. Damn, man.
So you had three guys. My bad, Chris. You had three guys you could attach your name to, and if that was the guy, it would have been okay. Like we said, none of us last year when we brought up this topic. I don't know on how many shows last year. None of us wanted Torres. None of us brought Torres up. We did not bring that up as a significant signing. Like, we all had our guys we wanted. If we would have came down with even one of those guys, I would have been feeling much better than what I do right now. Because another thing on top of that is, if we would have signed any of the other guys we're talking about, would have been a multi-year deal. This is just a one-year deal.
Yep.
And it's the reason why it's a one-year deal. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yep. And the thing was, Santander was wanting to sign here, but he was the backup guys. And like you said, Mike, in the chat, you don't blame him. Shit, if I'm the second fiddle.
Yeah.
He said they were interested, but he wasn't their top priority.
Right. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most, because you wind up not even getting the top priority or the second priority. You got some
right.
And that's right, Rich. That's exactly what I meant. Like, if you're somebody's option, move on, let them pick somebody else. Because you're obviously not their number one choice. So why would you just sit there and wait? Like, if you got somebody else that's wanting to sign you or do whatever, give you the opportunity that you're hoping for this other spot, and they're just playing, go somewhere else.
See, that's what Harris should have did, Mike. If Bregman is, carrying you along, making you wait for so long, because Santana didn't sign right away. Shit, let me move on and let me go get option 2, so at least I get one.
If they weren't going to be serious, because I'm not even mad at Bregman. And the story I read from our guy in Detroit, he said Bregman gave them 2 counter offers after that Boston offer. So, that's on Detroit. I'm sorry, that's not on Bregman. That's on Detroit. Bregman did.
I'm saying, like, if you weren't willing to do it to his demands, then you should just went to option 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's on Detroit. That's not Bregman. That's still on Detroit. Yeah. So Detroit should have did a much better job, man. That's at the bottom line. At the end of the day, that's just the way I take it. They should have did a much better job at this offseason. They struck out at so many points, man. I just can't even put it into words, man. I'm so frustrated.
They fumbled the bag for sure.
Yeah. They could have easily like said, "Hey, dude, you're our number one priority." They could have gone to Bregman and said, it's not like their agents are talking, "Hey, he lied to that guy." Like, you could say everybody's the number one priority. At least make it known, or be optimistic, and maybe they'll hold there for a little bit longer. But if you're just sitting there going, "Yeah, we're just waiting on Bregman, just give me a little bit more time here," like, dude.
They could have signed, if they really wanted Bregman that bad, they could have signed him. Like I said, the report came from our guy saying that Bregman gave him 2 counter options after the Boston deal. Like, come on, they didn't take one or the other. They let him go to Boston. That's on Detroit. That's on the Tigers.
Yep. He tried. They were just, and I don't care like what the price was, to be honest with you. Like I said, there's no cap. If he came back with a counter offer and it was even slightly reasonable, holy cow.
And the thing is, like, most of us, when we were talking about the contract, our concern was the amount of years. Like, he signed them for that short amount of years. He has to opt out of every season. Like, that would have been a much better opportunity to not have to worry about his age coming into factor versus age versus play.
Yeah.
So, Man, that would have been sweet, man. You can get out. You tell me you can get out of the contract at the latest is going to be by after his age 33 season. Sign me up for that every day. Like we were talking about, we didn't want to be on the hook for age 36, 37, 38.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. That had me frustrated when that came out. I was just waiting to see if they reported that he actually gave the Tigers the option to match or whatever, and they reported he did. So.
That's on them. That's their problem. We'll see how the season turns out. If we end up not being in the playoffs this year, it's their fault. They tried. They're trying to play money ball, and they're trying to play the prospect pool. And if we don't make it, you're not gonna catch the. They're not gonna sit there and go, well, we had such a good nothing. You get nothing. You get no excuse this year. None. Zero. None. You get zero excuses this year.
They need to stop acting like Detroit is a minor market. Like it's not.
It's not.
It's not at all. Like that's one thing I never got. Like they act like we're a minor, like a low tier market. We're not. We got the money. We got the assets. We had everything. People always hate on the Dodgers because they talk about they're deferring all this money. They're doing this. They're cheating. When any MLB team could do that, including the Tigers. And guess what? The Red Sox did. A lot of that money is deferred. So, but I didn't hear nobody bitching and moaning about the Red Sox. They did. They signed it. But every time the Dodgers do it, everybody want to have a heart attack. You got to get mad at your owners and your front office people because they're the ones that close the deals.
Yep. Los Angeles placed, like, their payroll this year is $350 million. Like, go cry to your owner. The owner in Los Angeles is like, I'm making us a playoff team every single year.
And that's the crazy part. Like, they won the World Series, and they're more hungrier than the teams that didn't even make the damn playoffs. Like, how can the team that won the World Series be more hungrier and apply more pressure while you got all these other teams just sitting out there doing nothing?
Yeah.
Or saying, we just got to sign. We're just in the market to sign one guy. Like, what do you mean? Like we said earlier, they could have had both of them guys if they wanted. Tanner didn't have to be a backup option. They could have got both of them.
Yep, absolutely. You got to go out and you got to get hungry. You got to make it, because what's going to happen is, like, so let's say we don't make the playoffs this year. I hate being negative, but I mean, let's say we don't. Okay, now you're going to have to get veterans, because now next year, if you don't make the playoffs, you're going to start losing a fan base. And then now players won't want to come here because it looks like it was a one-off and that you're not really serious about winning. So that's why you got to keep winning.
And guess what? This is too early. Like, it's too early to tackle this subject, but I'm just going to throw it out there, and then I got to get going because I got to leave somewhere. But we all know the best pitcher in baseball. We know what his contract status is, right? We know he's going to be an upcoming free agent soon. We all know who his agent is, correct?
Yes, Morris. We do.
So, it would behoove them if they act like they knew who it was too, and they did things to try to entice that man to re-sign and stay in Detroit. But like I said, it's too early to have that conversation. But if you have the year that they may potentially have without spending money, like that's not going to bode well. So. That's it. That's it for me to the show. I think that was the last topic anyways, right?
It was.
And that's the thing too, Mike. That's a good point, because who was Bregman's agent? Boris.
Exactly.
And so, you know what sucks is because now he knows how the Tigers are.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, which means that he knows that he's going to come in with Tariq Skubal, and he's going to be like, and I'm being sarcastic. I was like, yeah, I want $50 million a year, and they're going to balk, and he knows that, and he's good. He wants to go. I mean, I would not doubt like he wants him to go to the Yankees or the Dodgers, because that's where he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid in those the Mets, maybe Philly, maybe Cardinals, but I mean, we're so cheap. Like, where do you see anywhere that when in 2 more years, when Tariq Skubal's up for his contract, where have we seen in the last 4 or 5 years that we believe that Chris Ilitch is going to pay $20 million a year or $30 million a year for Tariq Skubal.
I was gonna say it's gonna cost more than 20 mil.
Well, I said 20 to 30 million per year for it. It might be higher than that because if he what happens if he's in the Cy Young candidate this year and next year? Like now what? Now what are you gonna do? He's gonna set the market for pitchers.
That's where like a lot of fans too is like when you hear, oh, sign him to an extension. Do you not know who his agent is? He's not gonna let him sign. Period.
No. You could go right now and say, I will offer you like $35-40 million a year. Even though it's the highest paid, he still won't do it because the market in 3 years might be different. It might be more.
Yes.
So
you're right, Chris. He could offer him $700 million right now. He's gonna turn it down.
Yeah, just because I don't want to be on the hook for something when I could probably get more in 3 years. Because if you're offering me $700 now, what do you think they're going to offer me in 3 years when I've just had a chance at 2 more Cy Youngs possibly?
Every single year, Boris has at least one client that goes deep into the offseason. Every year. Last year it was Montgomery, who went to the Diamondbacks and he had a clunker. This year it was Bregman. I can't remember every single year, but I just gave you 2 years worth of ideas. You know what I mean? Like, so he don't care. He'll hold out as long as he can. He's
Hey,
that's the thing about him.
Who was Chapman's agent? Was he Boris too or no?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. I just thought about that. Yeah,
that's another one. He had to sign a shorter deal, but then he wound up getting his money back anyways. But I can't remember if he's a Boris client or not. But either way, I got to get going, y'all. We appreciate everybody that watched. And how many viewers? I was looking at some points. We had like 250 or more or something like that. But
so Scott Boris is his. No, that's Matt Chapman, not Adelis Chapman. Sorry about that. So right now and I was getting ready to do the thing. So thank you we have 300 viewers tonight on our opening season 2 first episode of the Central Crown. I thank everybody for watching tonight. Just don't forget to either like and subscribe. Also tell your friends to subscribe as well, because once we hit 500 subscribers, we then give away a free jersey. It'll be a Lions, Tigers, Pistons, or a Red Wings jersey. We'll give it away to one of the 500 subscribers. Also, we are sponsored by Jersey Mike's. So if you come to the comments and kind of talk and like give us questions or give us feedback, we'll pick one of you and we'll send you a free Subway or a free sub sandwich. But yeah, so I was going to do one more thing before I go off, seeing as how this is the inaugural day. I bought it's Leaf Metal baseball. It's got Kevin McGonigal's rookie in it possibly, and I was going to open it as an inaugural night before we go. So I'm going to open it up right here and see what we get.
That's becoming popular, Chris.
That's because you're popular?
No, I said that's becoming popular.
Yeah.
The open packaging busting.
Well, they've been doing rips since 2016. So, but
okay, well, I'm seeing it more. How about that, buddy?
Well, that's because you're on the computer more often. You're becoming more tech savvy. So my first one is going to be Brooks Lee. Looks for like the Giants. That's a pretty good card. And then Rhett Lauder. I think he's for the Cardinals. Here's my first autograph. It's Cash Mayfield, numbered to 20. That's a pretty good one.
Oh, that's a nice card.
Yep. Chase Petty, numbered to 25. It's a little bit of a refractor. Oh, here we go. First round gems, Brady House. This is nice. 4 out of 5. Number to 5. Only 5 made of this one.
Is that autograph?
It's autographs. These last 3 were autographs. Here's a nice die cut Ooh, I like this one. This is also an autograph. There's 5 autographs in this. Tommy Troy, 4 out of 10. It's a die cut.
Oh,
yeah. And then the last one is Travis Bonzani. This is the hit. This is the hit. This is the guy, and it's number 225. Travis Bonzani. This is the best guy in this box that you can get. Wow.
Yeah, he was the number 1 overall pick, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was the big guy. Wow, that's a big hit. Woo! You saw it here. First season episode and everything. I got a Travis Bonzani, number 1 pick, autograph, numbered to 25. That is awesome. That's probably one of the biggest.
Congratulations, Chris.
That's awesome. That is a good.
That's a big deal.
That is. Yeah, I sold one of his non-autos just as it's a Bowman first this year for like $40. And it was a rookie, but it was not autographed or anything. So this baby is probably in the $100, $200 range. I'd have to look it up though. That's nice.
And that's something you hold on to.
Prospects are hard though, because this is a prospect card and not a rookie card. There's a difference. Rookies aren't until they get into the league, but these are prospect cards. So these in Leaf is non-licensed, so a lot of people don't like the sticker because it's on a sticker. There's a sticker right there that it's on. So yeah, I might send this one in to get graded though, because this one is like freaking cut. This one looks nice. But so Mike had to leave. Unfortunately, Mike is going to probably be a regular on here. He was here last year.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for your time. I know you had to go. Tell them where they can find you, Rich.
Excuse me. You can catch me on X at Riggs928. Or I'd be on the book, the Facebook.
The Facebook.
You can catch me at Richard Riggs.
Yep. You can catch me, Chris. I'm on X at Crazy Hockey Fan, as you can see right down in the down here, right there. And if you want to look me up on Instagram, I am under One Pride Nation _24. And just don't forget, like and subscribe. Have your friends like and subscribe. In fact, I ran into a Detroit Lions fan at Walgreens today, and he literally went there and he subscribed today. So I know we have at least one more subscriber from a couple of days ago. So don't forget to like and subscribe and get yourself a chance at a good jersey. Any final comments, Richard?
No, just thank you for everybody tuning in, and man, hopefully it's a good season, man. I really do want to see Torque have a bounce back year, and I want to see Mize. I mean, that's the thing, man. The season depends on a lot of things.
There's too much ifs and buts. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Ifs and buts.
If it goes one way, we go here. If it goes this way, we go here.
Yeah, I mean, it is. A lot of it's got to come together, but we'll see. We'll see how spring training goes. We'll see how the Red Wings. That's my just winging it. Oh, I got to plug them too. Okay, so just to let everybody know, Detroit Fan Report has a schedule throughout the week. So on Tuesdays they do the basketball show, right? Am I correct, Richard? You can tell them about that, right?
Yeah, we do a basketball show on Mondays.
Oh, Mondays. Okay. Yep.
8:00.
Okay. So 8:00 Mondays. On Tuesdays, we try to do the NFL show, but if we can't, we do it on Wednesdays. Then you've got LFR at 10:00. They do Lions Fan Report, probably talking draft talk and stuff like that. And then on Thursdays, we do Detroit Red Wings hockey. It's called Just Winging It at 9 with me and Keegan. And we do What Up, Doe on Friday. That's all Detroit sports encompassing. So, and anybody can show up there. I'm there. Richard's there sometimes. Like we get Uncle Drew on there. We get Ed on there. We get a bunch of different guys. We had 10 people at one time on there, and it was kind of crazy. We went for almost 2 hours. But but we talk a lot of stuff. And then obviously this is the first episode of Detroit Tigers baseball, and we'll be talking about this on Saturdays from this point forward. And I think that's it. Thanks for everybody watching us, and everybody have a good night, and go Detroit Tigers.